The night after my grandmother's funeral, I didn't dream about her. But weeks later, out of nowhere, there she was, sitting at the kitchen table, completely calm. I woke up feeling this strange mixture of comfort and weight. Something heavy was sitting on my chest. Not grief, exactly. Something closer to being seen. If you've ever dreamed about someone who's no longer here, you already know that feeling. It doesn't quite dissolve when you open your eyes. It follows you. In this video, we're going to go beneath the surface of these dreams. Not with a generic checklist, but with real layered interpretations that might actually fit your life. Because these dreams aren't random. They carry weight, direction, and sometimes a message you've been too busy to hear during daylight hours. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, something is happening when the dead visit your sleep. Let's figure out what that something is. First, let's acknowledge what makes these dreams unlike any other. You don't dream of a deceased loved one the same way you dream about missing a flight or showing up late to work. There's a clarity to them, a presence. Most people who've had these dreams describe waking up and feeling like the conversation was real. More real, somehow, than ordinary life. Sleep researchers call this a vivid grief dream, but that clinical label barely scratches the surface of what's actually happening in your mind and spirit. When we lose someone, that relationship doesn't actually end. It transforms. The love, the unfinished conversations, the things we never got to say, they don't vanish. They go somewhere. And the theory many psychologists and spiritual traditions agree on is this: our dreaming mind becomes the only place left where that relationship can still breathe, still speak, still exist. Think of it like a river that's been dammed. The water, that connection, doesn't disappear. It finds a new channel. Often, that channel is the dream state. So before you label what you experienced as just a dream, understand that your subconscious chose that person in that moment for a reason. Here's something I've come to understand about my own experience. I don't dream about just anyone who's passed. It's always close friends or family, people who mattered. And here's what's interesting. I've noticed a pattern. Every single time I dream about my grandmother, something is wrong in my waking life. Not catastrophically wrong, but wrong enough. I'm overwhelmed. I'm carrying something alone that I shouldn't be carrying alone. There's a tension I haven't named yet. And somehow she shows up before I've even admitted it to myself. I used to think it was coincidence. But after the 5th time, after waking up stressed, tracing it back and realizing, yes, I'm burnt out, or yes, this situation is unraveling, I stopped calling it coincidence. My grandmother in life was someone who listened. Not someone who fixed things, someone who made you feel less alone in the middle of the unfixable. And somehow, she's still doing that. She appears in my dreams not to deliver prophecy, but to remind me that I need support, that I'm allowed to need support, that I don't have to white-knuckle through everything. And I think that's the first real meaning hidden inside these visits. The person who appears often carries the emotional medicine you currently need, even if you can't see it yet. Let's break this into 3 distinct messages, because dreaming of the deceased isn't one size fits all. Context, emotion, and who appears all shift the meaning. The first message is about unresolved emotional weight. If you wake up from the dream feeling uneasy, unfinished, like you needed more time in it, that's your signal. That feeling is your inner world telling you there's grief, guilt, or longing you haven't fully moved through. The dream isn't haunting you. It's inviting you to process. Think of it this way. Your subconscious is extraordinarily patient. It will keep gently knocking with the same dream until you open the door and look at what's behind it. The second message is about guidance, and this is where it gets spiritually interesting. Many traditions, from indigenous ancestral wisdom to Jungian psychology, believe the dead carry knowledge we don't. When a loved one appears calm, peaceful, maybe even smiling, when they speak to you clearly or hand you something, that dream has a different energy entirely. That's not a grief dream. That's what some call a visitation dream. The distinction matters. A visitation doesn't leave you unsettled. It leaves you strangely, quietly okay. Pay attention to what they said, what they gave you, even what they were wearing. These details aren't decoration. They're the message itself, wrapped in imagery your mind could hold. The third message is about you, specifically a part of yourself you've buried or forgotten. Because the people we love shape us. They become a part of our interior landscape. When they appear in dreams, they sometimes represent qualities we've lost touch with. Your father's steadiness, your grandmother's compassion, your friend's reckless, beautiful courage. The dream might be asking, where did that part of you go? When did you stop being steady or compassionate or brave? And is it time to come back to yourself? Before we go further, I want to ask you something. Drop it in the comments right now. Who visits you in your dreams? And how do you feel when you wake up? There's no wrong answer. Whether it's peace, grief, confusion, or something you can't name, your experience is valid, and I genuinely want to know. Now let's talk about the dreams that feel charged. The ones that wake you up at 3 a.m., heart pounding, certain that something just happened. Sometimes these are stress-driven, your nervous system processing loss through vivid imagery, but sometimes there's a layer beneath that, a timing that's hard to explain away. Many people report dreaming of a loved one right before a major life decision, a health scare, or a turning point they hadn't anticipated. And in the dream, the person says something specific. I'm not here to tell you these are supernatural transmissions. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. But I will say this, don't dismiss what you heard. Write it down the moment you wake, because whether the source is divine, subconscious, or the beautiful overlap of both, the insight was real. And real insights deserve to be honored, not forgotten by noon. There's also a category of dreams that feel like goodbyes. Not goodbye in the devastating sense, but closure. A long hug, a smile, walking away peacefully. These often come in the days or weeks just after a loss, or sometimes years later when your grief has finally softened enough to receive it. They are, in the gentlest sense, a gift. And if you've had one, if someone came to you in a dream and it felt like they were telling you it's okay, I'm okay, trust that. Your heart recognized something real. So what do you actually do with a dream like this? Here are 3 things that can help you receive the message rather than just let it dissolve. The first is to journal immediately, not later, not when you get to work. Right now in bed before the imagery fades. Even fragmented notes matter more than you'd think. Write down who was there, how they looked, one thing they said or did, and, most importantly, how you felt inside the dream versus how you feel now that you're awake. The gap between those 2 feelings is often where the meaning lives. That contrast between the peace inside the dream and the tension you wake into, that's your compass. The second is to sit with the emotion without immediately explaining it away. We're trained to rationalize. It was just stress. I was thinking about them before bed. Maybe. But maybe not only that. Give yourself a few minutes to feel what the dream stirred up. Grief, warmth, unease, gratitude, whatever it is, let it surface. You can analyze after. Feel first. The third is to ask what the person represented to you. Not just who they were, but what they stood for in your life. Then ask yourself if that quality is something you're currently missing. Because often, these dreams are your deeper self, casting a familiar face onto a message you needed to hear. The person is real. The love is real. And the message is yours to receive. I think the most honest thing I can say about these dreams is this. They remind us that love doesn't stop at the boundary of death. It just changes frequency. My grandmother still shows up when I need compassion the most. I no longer wonder why. I just make sure I'm listening, and that I don't ignore what she came to say. Whatever you believe about what happens after this life, these dreams ask you to take your inner world seriously, to not dismiss what your sleeping mind is working to show you. You are not imagining things. You are not weak for being moved by a dream. You are a person who loved someone deeply, and that love is still active, still working, still reaching. If this video meant something to you, if it named an experience you've been carrying quietly, please share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And subscribe if you're drawn to this kind of honest, grounded exploration of the signs, symbols, and mysteries woven into everyday life. We go deep here, every single time. One final thought to carry with you. The next time someone visits you in a dream, don't rush back to waking. Sit in it a moment longer. They came a long way to be with you. Dream well, pay attention. You are more connected than you know.